What is up, you guys? Welcome to the pre-video video. I just wanted to say this before you guys watch the video. You might need to sit this somewhere and listen to it while you're washing dishes, or maybe you're driving the car, because I did talk a little bit and wanted to get a little bit more in detail. Now, I won't be doing this going forward with having such long videos, but I thought it was important to answer some of the questions that you guys have left here on YouTube, also on IG and on my TikTok. So I just answer a few of those topics today. I'll be making more videos about this in the future, but a little bit shorter. So enjoy the video. Thank you so much, guys, and make sure to subscribe and like this video if it has value to you. Take care. What is up, you guys? Happy New Year's. Hyvää uutta vuotta. It's 2024, and what I'm trying to do pretty much this year is be more of an open book. Open up to why I'm living here in Finland, how I got here, what my life is like here in Finland, and give you guys an opportunity to get some insight on what it's like, at least from my perspective, as an American living here in Finland. Right after this. Why am I in Finland? So I can break it down like this. Love and romance. You guys have been asking for a while, why did you move here? It was simply love and romance. I was living a real frivolous life. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I was doing all of the things that I wanted. I was working on music at the time, but at the same time, I found myself being very frivolous and, messing around and doing all of the things that young men will do. And to be honest with you, I knew in my heart, I was like, man, I can't be like this. Like, this isn't who I am, just meeting up with this one, meeting up with that one, and I don't know what to do. So I'm telling this guy, and he was just like, man, you should download like apps or whatever. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, bro, I don't want to end up on hookup apps. Isn't that exactly like the same situation? He was like, no, man. He was like, actually, this can give you an opportunity to message someone, to speak with someone before even initiating in any sexual contact or any opportunity for that to happen. You can meet someone on a whole different level on this online, apps and meeting apps. So I downloaded one, forget the name. I don't know why. It's been almost 5 years now, or it is 5 years. And, but it was a random app. I chose to avoid Tinder and all of these things. I was like, I'm going to choose randomly, not these apps that I know are more popular for, hookups and things like that. Long and behold, man, it was like crazy. My partner, she popped up. And I had seen that she had viewed my profile, and I was like, ooh, okay, who's this? And I went to message her, and it was actually quite interesting because for you guys that don't know, my partner is half Finnish, and her father being based from Macedonia is Albanian. So, she's half. And when I saw her, I actually initially thought, I was like, okay, she's Spanish. Okay, I like that. I like Spanish, right? And, or Hispanic, I should say, because I'm in Europe now, so I can't say Spanish because it's not the same. So Hispanic. Looking, and I was like, okay, all right. So, I start speaking to her, and man, we connect off the dot. I gave her some corny ass line, by the way, because I was not that good with like online stuff. If I talk to you, I meet you, that's a whole nother vibe. But to do it via online was like, oh my God. So I gave this cheesy line that, got her attention, and from there we just connected. And we literally, like from the beginning, I knew this is the one. Like I knew that she was the one that I wanted to be with. And 6 months later, she comes and visits me out in LA, and here we are today. So it was like really a romance kind of situation. I know I just skipped over like a whole bunch of stuff. Long distance relationships to me are hard because of the concept of just like, you really want to be with this person. You really have all these feelings for this person. And it's like the 90 Day Fiance shows, but you really have all of these intense feelings. And for some people, unfortunately, that can go south. I wouldn't motivate anybody to do it. I'm not going to lie to you, because it's a sacrifice on top of the fact of, there is that possibility that you can meet with that person and it's shit. So, I really do feel like we fell across a lucky situation, a 1 in a million opportunity for that to happen. So with that being said, romance was really the driving point to what got me here in the first place. So to answer the question, why did I come? It was that right there. It was the romance factor. So moving on next, guys, I know I'm pandering. I'll be talking a lot more in this video. I won't do this in every video, I promise. But the next situation that, was a whole nother breath of fresh air, but also the hugest difficulty I feel anyone can go through is having a child. So um having a child, guys, is a beautiful thing. I don't know how many young men or men in general that are watching this that don't have kids. And I'm speaking to the men primarily right when it comes to this because I can only speak from a man's point of view, not a woman's. And for me, I will tell you this: being a father is the greatest gift that life can give you, beyond any item, beyond any goal or objective that you will receive in this life. Being a father is the most beautiful thing you can ever do. Because one of the most beautiful things about it is you're deemed an opportunity to lead. You're deemed an opportunity to guide. You're deemed an opportunity to be affectionate, to be stern, to be an educator. All of these things, all of these skill sets that you'll develop. And as a man, what we have to do is we have to take on that responsibility. But diving back into the Finnish portion of it, I can definitely say that it was very hard, and I'm still going through that now. Of being a father, a foreign father in a foreign country, and having a child that is native to that country, is quite difficult because you're put in these situations where, for me, I want to be a part of all things and learn and see as my son nurtures and grows. And one of the most difficult things is not being able to sometimes understand. I went through a whole period of his upbringing and doctor visits and things, more or less not understanding. Sometimes they're able to translate, and sometimes obviously my partner, she translates for me, but there's still a dichotomy that you listen for 4 or 5 minutes straight of just people talking with you being dissociated from the situation, and then you kind of feel like this child that has to be like, so what we said is, and I hated that. I despised it, not because it's anyone's fault, but it was just a struggling point for me. And sometimes I've learned to just take it on. I've learned to embrace it because at the end of the day, this is life. Life is not easy. There are ups and downs, there are struggles, but everything that we receive in life, both good and bad, it can be a learning tool for us, depending on how you decide to take it and how you decide to use it in your life. So the next thing I would like to talk about is actually work. Working in Finland, it's different. So personally, for you guys that don't know, I was able to get myself situated here with this residence permit. And now I'm actually going through the final portion of it, which I will have a decision probably in the next coming months or whatever, dictating like, oh, okay, you can be here indefinitely. Because the cool thing about Finland is, you go through these waiting periods over the 4 years like I have, but the cool thing about Finland is that once you get a residence permit, you're actually able to do all of the things that a citizen, native citizen Finnish person can do. So that's, like myself starting a business and being able to buy cars and all of these things you can do. So one of the things that I can say about the work life that I've only experienced once since living here, and there's a reason behind that. So personally, when I moved here, the saddest part is upon waiting a 9 month period, by the way, to get my residence permit, you can't work. And I'm gonna be honest, that was the most depressing portion of living in Finland for me. I went through the winter and everything, and that was like God, it was so hard. And that I don't think it's just because I lived in Finland, but it's the case scenario of doing nothing is very hard for me. I'm a person that moves a mile a minute and, I love to be proactive, getting things done, organizing, business and jobs and life. So for me, it was super depressing, brought out terrible traits of myself, anger, depression, sadness, all of those things. Like I said, being an open book about those things, that was a very difficult time I think for myself, and also was a lot of pressure on my partner because, she's probably looking like, man, I don't know how to help this guy. He's in a situation where he's now left where he's from. He's in a foreign country he's not familiar with. And now, he is struggling to adapt in a place that, there's nothing much to do. At the time, I was living in Joensuu, and shout out to the people of Joensuu. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all your help and the great community that was there. That being said, it was a very difficult time for me and dark period of time for me because, like I said, I felt helpless. And I felt helpless not just for myself in this selfish way. I felt helpless because I knew I had this, a child on the way, and I knew I had a partner that I wanted to be responsible for. And me personally, as a man, that's my sole purpose. That's the reason I breathe. Responsibility, accountability, and taking care of my family was the striving point. And if I wasn't doing that, I felt like I was useless, and even though my partner, obviously, she didn't make me feel that way at all in regards to it, but that was just my mental state, all that I had ever known. And of course, moving here from America, that's, drive, 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 work, 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 work. That's what we know. So it was very hard to acclimate to this new mindset of also people around me being like, hey, live life, chill out. Because, like in Finland, a lot of the motivation is living life, family, and then work. And of course, for the American mindset, most of us are taught that work is what provides your lifestyle and which you can provide it for your family. So it's total opposite. So I definitely struggled with that. But when I was able to get work, working at Easy Fit, y'all, and so once again, shout out and all love to them for giving me an opportunity to have a job, my starting job. When I was there, I already knew it was a means to an end. I had been in the training field and gyms since, for 5 years before then. And then also I've been working out in gyms for good Lord knows how long. I know you can't tell now I'm not as big as I used to be. But I definitely was like, you know what? I like the gym. I love changing people's lives. That's one thing. But I was like, I feel like there's more. I feel like there's something I have to do. And though that was a tough period of time for me, I decided, you know what? Either I'm going to be a foreigner here, an immigrant here that is going to work these very small end jobs because of the fact that, yes, I only did 2 years of university previously, not even fully completed. And then on top of that, I also had these jobs that had no value here in Finland because I would have needed to speak Finnish in order to be in sales management or, even in security, which they were not paying anywhere the same amount of money that I was making for, private security. So for me, I was like, I'm going to end up being an immigrant that either I'm just these lower end jobs and just trying to survive and help my family survive, but coming back with this anguish of angry energy in me that, I'm not happy with my life, I'm not happy with my job, I'm not all of these things that now my family has to feel the pressures of. Or I can take the sacrifice to jump out and see about creating something myself. And that was the decision I made, countless hours. And I know now you guys see me in my setup, and some people watch me on social media. And any moment that you think to yourself, man, that's so cool. I want to be just like that. Or you think nothing about it was easy. Nothing. It was a hard struggle, guys. The whole entire journey to be where I am now was a very hard struggle. Before even living here in Finland, I've, experienced homelessness, a lot of different struggles, sleeping on bathrooms and stalls and things like that. Like nothing was easy. So I want to get that out of your head immediately that nothing about life is easy. There are challenges, like I said, there are difficulties. It is what we do with those things. Do we take those challenges and make those into tools that we can utilize to be better? Or do we take those things and those struggles and difficulties like shackles and chains to our ankles and allow it to drag us deep down into the ocean of oblivion where we give up, where we sink, where we're done? So I don't want to make this, like I said, super long because I know I'm venting. I hope that this is valuable to you guys. If this is valuable, please make sure to like this video and share in the comments your thoughts and concerns because I really like when you guys interact with me because you gotta remember I'm just sitting here talking to a camera. Even though I'm thinking I'm speaking to you guys, I'm talking to myself pretty much. So it's always nice to get that feedback to know what you guys are thinking and how you experience these things that I say. So going back, immigrating is something I think that's worth talking about, but my immigrating conversation is more so the sense of really navigating or blending into the community. Here's what I'm going to say. I don't ever wish to be Finnish. That's no offense to anyone. That's no offense to Finland. That's no offense to the culture or for me to say I don't want to be anything like you. No, that's not what I mean. I believe in a sense of dignity and a sense of foundation in oneself that you can go anywhere in the world. And I'm not talking about race or ethnicity or, well, the same, or culture. I mean, in the sense of you should be able to be you wherever you go. It's okay to blend, to adapt. That's the better word, to evolve, but you should still maintain a sense of you, of self, right? And when I say I don't want to be Finnish, I mean in the case scenario that I am an American that lives in Finland. But beyond that, I'm Daddy Diesel. And to me, it is important that I am able to, yes, learn the language, learn the culture, all of these beautiful things. But my intention is not to become a Finnish person, as I already know I never will be. If this makes sense, I hope that this makes sense what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say is I believe very strongly, and people have thoughts on this. Feel free, like I said, to share in the comments your thoughts. In the immigration process, I think it's very important to add while you take, right? Because when I say take, you are taking something when you immigrate to a country, no matter what you think you are taking something. I love to use the house concept. If I move into your house, this is your home. I've moved into your house. I am now taking from you already by being within your home, right? And that's okay that I have ways of knowing of how I was raised or where I lived or whatever. But at this point, I am not within my house. I am not within my jurisdiction. I am now in your home. I am within your jurisdiction. And if you might have some rules, hey man, uh, usually after we eat dinner, we wash the dishes immediately or we put them into the dishwasher. And I go, well, where I was raised, we don't usually always like, we let it sit there for a while. Or like, no, where I'm from, usually the host washes the dishes, right? Okay, I can hear you, right? If you're the host, you can say, okay, I hear you. But, respectfully, now that you're within my home, these are the rules that, I have set. This is the rules that my family, has. So within every country, the country, just like a home, already has its own great qualities and bad qualities. You have a family that has things that are going well and things that are going bad. You're already trying to deal and navigate that household already. So when you invite others in, when they come in, if that's what you choose to do, if they're not being ample help to your home, then they are now hurting the economy of your home, right? So now you're in this tough situation that you're just like, okay, I invited you in and you're not following any of the things that, I've asked of you. And when I ask these things of you, you take offense that I'm making you do these things or that I'm being harder on you because you're not of my home. Now, in some ways, maybe some people do, but on the other way, it's just like, no, these are things that I expect because this is what we do. Hey, but some of your family members don't wash the dishes. You're correct. You're correct. And I also hold to a standard that they need to do the same thing. That's how it should be, even though sometimes that's not how it happens in certain countries. Now, I don't want to keep confusing you guys. I hope that makes sense. I can explain more in detail, like I said, in further videos. But so on and so forth, my concept of saying this in immigration, I feel that we have to be an add to someone's house. If we're going to come into your home, hey, I'm going to take my own integrity, my own sense of self to do some things that maybe you don't even ask me to do, but they have a huge impact on your home and things that I know that might be more suitable. And maybe some things that I do have in mind. Hey, from where I'm from or my home, hey, we usually do this for the holiday season or we do this. And you say, hey, I never thought about that. That sounds really cool. I would love to try that. I would like to embrace your culture, your home, and what you guys do. So, my bad, I just had to fix the recording system real quick. So, you know, this is not perfect, right? It doesn't happen always like this. But the concept to me is saying that with immigration, we have to think about adding to the community, right? That doesn't mean we have to become this kiss ass person or everything about Finland is amazing. No, it's not. There's a lot of faults within Finland that I can see. But it's kind of just like they said growing up. I treat the country just like I treat people. What is the point of me just coming up to you and telling you you got acne, you got scars, you got a fat stomach? What is the point of me pointing out things just to make you feel bad? If anything, I would like to possibly say, hey, hey, I see you got this acne. I've got this cream. Hey, I'm not going to point this out, but if in turn you mention that your stomach bothers you, hey, actually, I know this diet plan. I know this workout that you can do, right? We tend to attack sometimes. Not all immigrants. I'm just saying some of us. We have this mindset that, oh, I can't stand this country and da 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 da. And it's kind of like, hey, I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Based off of what you're saying, even if I don't agree with you. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that, once again, that's like being in someone's house. If you're going to complain about my house, my standpoint is, well, why are you staying here? And now many people will say, oh, well, that's racism. You're kicking me out the country. No, it's a basic question. If you're where I reside, you came to me, whether unfortunately due to terrible events that have transpired in your own home, right? Or you just were interested and oh man, I saw your home. I saw that you had an open border, or you had an open opportunity for people without homes or that are just curious about living in your home could come and live here. Well, while you're here, good and bad. You got to take good and bad. There are some badass homes out there that are inviting you in. There's some good ones. If you move into a place that's not suitable for you, your journey continues. There's no reason to shit on that home, right? You can have feelings about it. You can even address, hey, these are some of the things that I noticed that I don't like about living here, and be respectful about it, because now you can create conversation rather than just pointing and saying this is why you need to clean. You guys are da, da, da. Hey, I just noticed that certain things were dirty, and were you aware of that? Hey, can I be a part of helping this? Because I want to stay in this house and I actually would like to see this house flourish, right? But if you have no intention of being in that place and all you do is complain about it, well, let the journey continue, right? Because there might be better opportunities for you out there. There might be better countries. Hey, but this is a refugee situation, how I ended up here. All respect to you. I respect and understand what you're telling me. But at the end of the day, this is the opportunity that you were given. This is the home that opened the doors to you and gave you an opportunity to be free of whatever terrible situations were happening in your home. So now that you're here, if you don't intend or like the country that you're in, the next thing is to do is to focus on how can I create an opportunity to move further to where I want to be. They're making it very hard for me. You're right. But my question is, internalize that and think to yourself the struggle. Have I progressed to get closer to my next objective by living in a place that maybe I feel is quite difficult? Maybe they're racist, all of these different things you have in mind. But at the same time, is it worse than the war that I've just come from? Because this is the other option that you had. You left it for a better opportunity. Now, if you're telling me that racism alone is the only thing, because when you say racist, I'm curious what that means. Are you just saying, oh, they don't give me jobs based off my race? Are you saying that they treat me indifferently? They say mean words to me? They're cruel to me? Because all of these different things, I want you to know, for me at least, based on the country that I come from, there's a history of people like me and many others not having jobs, not even having a citizenship because you weren't even deemed three-fifths of a person, being killed, brutally murdered, dragged through the street, abused, raped, all of these different things that were happening, and you had no say-so, and it wasn't against the law. The reason I bring this up is because I'm trying to tell you that was a reality. And in some of your countries, some of these crazy things might be going on. So these are the extremes. So for that to be the extreme, and that to have happened, if you're where you were, or just historically, for you to now live a life to be in the time in history where all you have to hear is bad words about yourself, or all you have to hear is maybe this one job didn't accept you for your race, if that's what you're perceiving or that's what you felt. there's still more opportunities. The fact that you can move to another country by working hard, disciplining yourself, getting there, learn the things that you don't know in order to achieve the things that you desire. Never fall on the concept of just saying, I cannot because of this person, right? Because in this day and age, that excuse, it cannot be formed as a foundation anymore. Anything you want to achieve, you can achieve. I know I'll get some pushback on this, and I'm always open to that. And I respect it because I respect how you guys think. I respect the value of your thoughts. So make sure to get in those comments. I'm not saying people you have to agree with me, not at all. These are some thoughts that I have. And this energy of how I live my life now comes 100% from me knowing, by the way, from my country, that all of these opportunities were not available. What I do now, I would still do back in America, 100%. The same mentality I held here is the same one I held there, as to why I had a good job, as to why I was living a better life. So to me, it has nothing to do with just living in Finland. Finland is here because of romance. I told you from the beginning. So what is happening now, like I said, in this immigration theory or immigration way of thinking is, if I'm immigrating into a country and I want to live there, am I adding to it more than I'm taking? And on top of that, if I'm immigrating to a place that maybe I didn't per se want to be, am I focused on the next goal to move to the next place or to make that, better opportunity for myself?